Hi everyone, happy Friday! Welcome back to our last video of the week where I recommend some books to read while the library is closed, suggest some activities to do while you're stuck at home, and tell bad jokes. Today's video is by viewer request and it's all about mermaids. So if you like mermaids, stick around. All of these books are really great mermaid books. And our joke today is a mermaid joke, and it goes like this. Where do mermaids sleep? Waterbeds, of course. So, the first book I'm going to recommend is for younger readers. It's an easy chapter book series called Mermaid School by Lucy Courtney. And this series is available on Freeding, so you can read it with no waiting list. And it is about a little mermaid girl named Marnie Blue who is going to school for the first time. So she goes to Mermaid School and she has a hard time right away because her aunt was a famous troublemaker when she went to the school. And the teachers and even some of the students kind of prejudge her before she even shows up, thinking she's going to be a troublemaker just like her aunt. And this is something that sometimes happens to non-mermaid kids too, being compared to their older siblings or family members. So I liked seeing that in a book. I also like how the book suggests that you deal with people who don't like you. The characters suggest, you have to be yourself and don't worry what other people think, but you also have to try to be kind to other people and not stoop to the level of the bullies. So I think that's a valuable message for young kids. So fun, good messages. I really like this book, and it's got mermaids too, so what's not to like? Our next recommendation is another series that's pretty popular, and it's called Emily Windsnap by Liz Kessler. And you can read this one on Library to Go. The first book in the series is called The Tale of Emily Windsnap. And it is about a girl named Emily who is part mermaid, except she doesn't actually know that at the beginning of the books until she discovers that when she is completely immersed in water, her legs turn into a tail, and then back again when she gets out of the water. Upon finding this out, Emily starts to explore her identity as a mermaid, her past, including whatever happened to her absent father. And she just goes on this incredible adventure underwater, all the while dealing with the normal kid stuff like starting 7th grade at a new middle school. There are 9 books in this series so far, so if you like the first book, you've got a lot more coming that you can read as well. Our next book is another chapter book, and this one is by Helen Dunmore, and it's called Ingo. You can read this one on Freeding, and it is about a girl and her older brother whose father mysteriously disappears after taking the boat out one day. The kids believe he's still alive, but they're really the only ones in their community who actually think so. Everyone else says he's dead. So they start looking for him, and in the process they don't find him, but they find Ingo, which is an enchanting underwater world inhabited by mermaids and other sea creatures. It's amazing and it's beautiful, but it's also dangerous. There is a little bit more of a fantasy feel to this book than the last two, with the sort of other world just under the waves. And if you like this one, there's 4 more books in the series, so you can keep on going. And the last book I'm recommending is another chapter book for slightly older readers called Rise of the Jumbies by Tracy Baptiste. And this is actually a sequel to a book called The Jumbies, and I do actually recommend that you read that one first. Rise of the Jumbies is the one that features mer people, so that's the one that I'm talking about today, but you should read the first book. They're both excellent. And I wanted to include it because it offers a bit of a different perspective on mermaids than what you see in a lot of other literature, especially literature for kids. The Jumbies and its sequel deal heavily with Caribbean and West African mythology and fairy tales. So Jumbies are tricky, magical beings, and our main character, who's a girl named Corinne, doesn't believe that they exist, at least not at first. And in this second book in the series, children start to go missing from Corinne's island that she lives on. She lives on an unnamed Caribbean island. And when kids start to go missing, Corinne goes deep into the ocean to try to find Mermaid Tail, who is a dangerous Jumbie who rules the seas. But Mermaid Tail's help comes with a steep price. She wants Corinne to do something for her. So she needs to go on a perilous underwater journey all the way across the ocean if she wants to help rescue the missing children. The Jumbies, I like to recommend this because it introduces kids to a folklore that they might not already be familiar with, and it's a little bit creepy. So it's a little bit darker than the other books that I've recommended, a little scarier. So for kids who like stuff that's a little bit scary, they'll really like this one. If you like the Jumbies, you can also listen to the author, Tracy Baptiste, sharing a mini lesson on how different mythologies around the world have things in common. There's a link in the description to this video to a YouTube video of her talking about this, so I really recommend that. You can hear it straight from her own mouth, and if kids are interested in mythology, it's a really great listen. Our activity today is to make our own mermaid tails out of coffee filters and paper. So if you've got coffee filters and paper lying around and a little bit of glue and some string, you can make your very own mermaid tail. And the way you do it is you draw out a tail on a piece of paper. If you can get the biggest piece of paper that you can find, that's even better. And if you can make a tail big enough to cover a kid's legs, then that's even better, because then you can wear it as a costume. And then you just cut the coffee filters in half and paste them on like scales. And then you can paint it or use markers to color it and make it more colorful. And you can tape on some ribbon or some string so you can put it around your waist and walk around with it. So if you want to become your own mermaid, there's an idea for you. There's a link in the description of this video to some instructions that are a little more detailed on how to make these. Do you have a favorite mythological creature? Are you a mermaid person, or do you have a different favorite? Let me know. I'm curious to hear from you. I hope everyone's doing okay, and we'll see you next week. Bye.